accidentally cut a dog's quick, you know how stressful and upsetting it can be. But here's the thing, it's not just a little ouch moment for your dog. It can actually be much worse than you think, and I'm going to explain why. Okay, first things first, what is the quick and why does it matter so much? The quick is a part of the dog's nail that contains blood vessels and nerves. Think of it like the nail bed on your own nails, but much more sensitive than that. When you cut into the quick, it's not just a pinch or a sting for the dog. It's painful, like really painful. And since it's connected to blood vessels, it can also bleed, sometimes quite a lot. But it doesn't stop there. Cutting the quick can have longer term consequences as well. We're going to get into that next. So why is cutting the quick such a big deal? Well, there are 3 major reasons. Number 1, pain and stress. First and foremost, cutting the quick hurts. For some dogs, it may be enough to make them scared of nail trims for life. I've seen dogs who are so stressed they shake and even try to bite because they associate nail trims with pain. And once that fear sets in, it can be really hard to undo, but not completely impossible. It just takes a lot more time to undo the association of pain with nail clipping. Number 2, risk of infection. The quick is basically an open wound once it gets cut, and if dirt and bacteria get into that wound, it can lead to infection. And let's face it, dogs aren't exactly careful about keeping their paws clean. They walk outside, in grass, on sidewalks, and even sometimes in mud and maybe their own stool. An infected quick can lead to swelling, more pain, and even a visit to their vet if it doesn't heal properly. Number 3 is it actually slows the progress on reseeding your dog's quicks. This one might be a bit more technical, but it's super important. If you have been working at reseeding your dog's quicks by gradually trimming their nails shorter, cutting into the quick can actually slow your progress. When the quick is cut, it actually swells as a part of the healing process, and that can make it harder to trim nails shorter in the future. It's like taking 1 step forward and 2 steps back, especially if it doesn't heal properly like we talked about from number 2, which can delay nail trimming and therefore the quick grows longer and it's kind of set you back further. So how do you avoid this? Well, first up, you gotta know your tools. Using high quality nail clippers or a nail grinder. Grinders in particular are great because they actually let you work slowly and avoid accidentally cutting too deep. Now, not all dogs like the grinder, not all dogs like the nail clippers, so sometimes you can use a combination of both or one or the other, but using a grinder is specifically good for nail trimming and getting them as short as possible. Now, if your dog's nails are clear or light colored, you can actually usually see the pink quick inside. Leave a safe margin though. You don't want to cut too close, and sometimes the quicks actually taper off into a smaller section that is harder to see, and it might look like it's clear or white in that area, so just try to play it on the safe side. Again, using a grinder is going to help you get a little bit closer. For dogs with black nails, it's a lot trickier, and I'm sure you know this if you have a dog with black nails. So I recommend taking off small amounts at a time and checking the nail surface for a little black dot in the center. That dot is going to tell you that you're getting too close to the quick. Although if you're struggling with that, there could be various reasons why. And I have a video that I'm going to link above and below for you, and that's going to cover the trouble with the black dot and different scenarios where it may or may not appear and what to do. Next up, you're gonna need to work slowly. Don't rush. If the dog gets squirmy, take breaks. This is especially important if they're already nervous about nail trims or had a bad experience in the past. 1 nail or 1 foot a day, either or, it doesn't matter. It's completely acceptable. You do not have to do the whole job at once. Now, the next thing you're gonna need to do is use styptic powder if necessary. At least have it on hand. Even with the best precautions, accidents do happen, so keep styptic powder nearby to stop the bleeding. That is, if you accidentally cut the quick. But remember, Stopping the bleeding doesn't always stop the pain, so proceed carefully. Now this next one is kind of important. I feel like it's kind of overlooked, and it's to actually recede quicks gradually. If your dog's nails are really long, then a lot of the times the quick is closer to the tip. Now a lot of people want to go in because they have such long nails and try to take off as much as they can to make their dog's nails comfortable, and usually to alleviate time frames in which they're trimming nails. So they want to go longer, so they want to take up as much off as possible. But that's actually not doing your dog or yourself any favors. Focus on small, frequent nail trims to encourage the quick to recede over time. Patience is a virtue here. All right, let's talk worst case scenario though. If you do accidentally cut the quick, here is exactly what you're gonna wanna do. Number one, stay calm. First, just don't panic. Dogs pick up on our emotions, so staying calm will help them feel a little bit calmer too. Number two, apply styptic powder. I know we talked about this, but you're gonna wanna grab it, put some onto your finger, and then press that onto the nail for about 30 seconds if possible. That's not always doable. Some dogs move around quite a lot, but the longer you hold it, the better. If it's particularly a bad cut, you've made it quite short, or maybe your dog just bleeds more, then you might need to do more rounds of styptic powder or with more pressure for longer. So really holding down on that nail and applying pressure for a longer amount of time. Generally, they're gonna stop bleeding pretty quickly with the styptic powder. Now, let's say you were maybe a little unprepared and you do not have styptic powder in your house and you decided to trim the nails and now you've cut the quick. Well, cornstarch can work in a pinch. So if you have cornstarch in your pantry, you're gonna wanna grab some and do the exact same thing. As the styptic powder, you're gonna put some on your finger and you're gonna apply pressure and hold it to the nail. Well, the only problem is it's generally just less effective than styptic powder at clotting, so you're probably gonna have to do more rounds and apply more pressure than you would with styptic powder. Number three kind of seems like a given, but you're gonna want to comfort your dog. Give them a break, give them lots of reassurance, treats, cuddles, anything that's gonna help them work through their feelings and feel better. And if possible, go back in and trim just one more nail with a lot more caution. For this one, you do not want to quick them again, so just a tiny sliver off just to get it done, and you're gonna want to end that on a good note and tell them not all nail trimming are gonna result in pain, because if you end on that bad note, there's gonna be a lot harder association with the bad pain that came with it, as opposed to ending on a nail that didn't hurt them. And after all is said and done, you're gonna wanna monitor for infection. So keep an eye on the nail for the next few days. If you notice any swelling, redness, signs of infection, maybe they don't wanna walk on that foot, contact your vet if necessary. Remember, it happens to the best of us, even professionals, quick dogs sometimes. The goal is to learn from it and to make nail trims less stressful for both you and your pup in the future. But with the right tools, techniques, and a little patience, you can avoid this, and it will make nail trims a much more positive experience, which is super easy to do if you have proper conditioning, and it only takes a few minutes each day, and I go over that in this video right here.